Hi, this is Jim. We're going to go through and look at some of the best stocks from the Best Stock newsletter from the previous newsletters. This is TGA. This is a monthly chart, and I put that it looked like it was making like a double bottom here on the monthly time frame, and I just looked at that stock again today, and I still like that stock, so I still think that one's moving higher. SGNX, I haven't looked at that one lately, so we'll just skip that one right now. Um, but I think that's still a good longer term pick. Okay, TKMR. This made a bull swing up, and right now it is correcting. So this best stocks newsletter, I'm not always saying buy exactly at the time of the newsletter, even though you could do that, or you could buy a few shares and then you could wait and see if it pulled back. However you want to play it. But what I'm saying is this stock has great upside potential because, like here, the volume and the gap up and everything. And I don't know exactly what TKMR is trading at right now. It could be. We might look at it in a second. It was recommended here at 892. But again, that doesn't mean buy it right there. You do whatever you think is right on this. This is the difference between my best stocks newsletter and my premium trading newsletter. In the premium trading newsletter, I would give you the exact entry point and stop, and that's a great service too when you get the exact entry point and stop. But the thing about the best stocks newsletter, it gives you a little more choices, so you can kind of take it and do it with your own style, how you want to do it, and it gives you some more stocks instead of me putting out like maybe one stock trade a week and saying this is the stock to buy. I give you like three or so stocks in the best stock newsletter. Right now, I've been kind of putting out three because I think that's a good number, and then I've been putting out the number one stock of the week, and but that can change. I'm still working on this, and if you have any suggestions, if you take the newsletter and have any suggestions, send it in. Now, Apple here, this was recommended back in the best stock newsletter, and it's gone up since then. It's probably up in the $500 area. This was 582 when I put it in the best stocks newsletter. And again, I'm not saying that this is the time to buy here. I'm just saying I think this stock has great upside potential, and this is one of the best stocks with the great upside potential. So if you saw this chart, you could either buy if it broke out above this channel, or you could wait for a double bottom. So again, the best stocks newsletter is more of alerting you to what I think stocks have the greatest upside potential in the long term, and then you take it from there and you decide when you want to buy. And again, like I said, you don't have to just wait for a breakout of this or wait for a double bottom. You could just buy a few shares here, and then if it pulled back, buy a few more, whatever you're comfortable with risking. Okay, ADBE, Adobe. Now this one has actually shot up. Actually, where this arrow points is about right where it's at now. So this is recommended at like 52.19, and it's up there at 57 something right now. I just looked at that chart. It's probably 57, 58 bucks a share. So, and this chart pattern again. Now this chart pattern, if I was trading this one, I would have bought this one right here on the week it was recommended, because look, we have it filled the gap and then it came up, and this green bar is a bullish bar with this software I use. So whenever you see a green bar, that means it's a bullish bar. So on this one, just the chart pattern, the gap up, the fill of the gap, and then a new green bar, that would have been one I would have just bought flat out. But again, that again, you trade it how you want to. IVAC, I haven't really looked at it too much since I put out this recommendation. Um, but I just showed that it looked like it had made a base, a breakout, and was testing the base. And I mean, that's a pattern that a lot of times it will head higher. Now, I did look at it, a week or so ago, and it has moved higher up here. So I still think that's a good stock. But I be honest, I haven't looked at it this week, so I don't know what it did. But I still think that's a good pick. They're not all going to be, they're not all going to be winners. Best Buy, this one went pretty much straight up since then. That's probably up to around the $44 area. Again, I'm just going by memory here. But Best Buy was a recommendation. See that up arrow? That's a bulls and bears buy signal with the system. That's just a flat out buy on that bar. And see how it gapped up off the low? You could have just risked whatever you wanted to risk, and bought it, and that stock you'd be up on right now. So that's in the best stocks newsletter. S&TS, this is my big winner. This one has evidently done a buyout or something. It's going to get bought out, but it's shot up here, and it's about 30 something a share right now. So it's clear up here, and it was recommended back when it was 23, $24 a share, and it's up to 30 something a share right now. So that would have been a big winner. And again, see the buy arrow right there? if you see a stock that you like and it's got a buy arrow here, I would just go ahead and buy it and risk like 10% or 8%, whatever you want to risk. Caterpillar, now this is one that did shoot up from here, but then I think it's come back down. But I still think so. This one is probably a little behind from where it was recommended or highlighted. I don't want to really say recommended, just highlighted. But again, in the long term, I still think CAT is a good long term stock pick. So this isn't meant to be like a trading newsletter. This is meant to be more of a long term buy and hold. MXL, this one has gone up and pulled back down, but again, I still think long term it made this gap up here, and it's gone up and it's pulled back and it's still making, like, I think it's above this pivot high. So this is still an uptrending stock. So even though it hasn't gone like straight up since it was in the best stock newsletter, I still think this is a good long term stock. And I look at a lot of things on these stocks that you can't tell everything in the newsletter, but MXL, I take a lot of services, and MXL is on Investors Business Daily. Um, Top 10 under 10 stocks is one of the fastest growing stocks on under 10 stocks. So I mean, I know this stock has good upside potential, and then I take that information where I see a stock, and I decide if I think it's the chart pattern's good and everything. So that was one of the things on this stock. So there's reasons I put these on this best stock newsletter besides just the chart pattern. There's things I look at. Again, this was highly recommended by Investors Business Daily. Now, I don't just steal their picks. If I see one on Investors Business Daily and I don't like it, it doesn't get on here. So I'm still making the final decision. But that was some information I went by. GNCR, gap up. I mean, this is just a beautiful chart pattern, and this one came up and it has gone down a little bit, and now it's back up. So this is a good long-term stock. I still, every stock on here I still like. Amazon, same thing. Big volume, big gap up. It's on a bulls and bears buy signal. I think this has huge upside potential. Now, since I highlighted it on Best Stocks newsletter, it did pull down a little, and now it's back up, and I think it's actually above the price at 353. It looks like right here, 363. Um, it's above this price that it was highlighted on, but it did pull back a little. And again, I'm not saying they're not going to pull back a little. That's where I'm just saying AMZN has huge upside potential. I think this breakout from this base on this volume and strong gaps up just makes this a hot stock, and that's why it made the best stock newsletter. I'm trying to bring you the absolute best stocks. ALXN, I think this has huge upside potential. This is a monthly chart. I put daily, weekly, and monthly charts, so always look up here to see what time frame it is. This is a monthly chart. It tells you right up here what time frame it is. And this just looks like a classic cup with base pattern here, and I think this stock's heading much higher. I think this is a long-term, big growth stock, big earnings stock. THOR, this moved right up after this recommendation. It moved up in the 40s. It was highlighted at 39.99. It moved up to the 40s. Again, I haven't checked it in the last couple days, so I can't tell you exactly. Well, actually, let's see here. I got my track and trade software up. Let's just take a look at this one. THOR. Since I keep saying I haven't looked at it in a couple days, let's take a look at it and see what happened. Okay, now that one's up. That one's up. I recommended that right at, it was right about $40 a share, which would have been where? Right in here. It made the best stock newsletter. And then it looked like it came up and then it moved down and then it gapped up. So that's where we are in that one. So it was highlighted around $40 a share in the best stock newsletter. It's 43. But again, I'm looking at the long term on this. Like for the move from 40 to 43 isn't what I mean, that's great, and if you want to take a quick win on that one, like say if you bought 100 shares and you're up $300, that's great. But I'm looking at the long term on this best stocks newsletter. I think this has the potential to be like a $80 stock. So it's not like the trading newsletter like my other newsletter is, where sometimes we do just get in and out. But actually, I've been holding those stocks quite a while too when we get into them. LSCC, this one moved up right after it was recommended at 537 or highlighted, however you want to call that. Now let's punch it into the software, and this will give us the actual price it's at right now. LSCC. Okay, that was highlighted like right in here, and that's shot up. That's up to 563. So it's not up a lot. It's up, maybe 60 cents. But again, long term, that's what I'm looking at here. I think that that stock has a big, big upside potential. Just because, again, I look at monthly charts, weekly charts. This is a daily chart, so I can't put everything in the best stock newsletter that I'm looking at. But it's just letting you know, giving you the heads up that I think this has huge upside potential. GTI, this is a monster. This shot right up after it was in the newsletter. It's probably at 11 something dollars a share. Again, we can look at this. I'm gonna bring this to a close here pretty quick just because of the time of uploading it on YouTube. I think you get the idea that most of these stocks have gone up. See, now this one, this GTI was recommended right here on this bar, and look at it, just shot straight up the next week. And again, it's not the fact that it went from here to here, but it's the fact that I think this is a $9 stock when it was kind of highlighted, $9, $10 stock, and I think this could be a $20 stock. So it's nice when it moves your way right away. But if this stock would have came down here and been just kind of trading sideways since then, again, I'm looking at the long term, and I think this has great upside potential. I'm going to try to wrap this up pretty quick just because I got to upload it on YouTube. GMCR, I think that was the number one stock. I think this is just a big, huge bull move up, and this is just a counter trend correction. So that's why I'm saying I think this is number one stock of the week. I think this stock has huge, huge upside potential. I think someday we could look back at this stock. It was highlighted at 62. I think this could be a 100, 150, $200 stock someday if it keeps growing and everything keeps going good. RGN, that's one that, I mean, look at that uptrend. That's on a monthly time frame. I think that has huge upside potential. Look at the momentum here. So I'm bringing you, so far what it's been is the top 3 stocks every week, and then I bring you the number one stock of the week. And last week's number one stock was GPS, and I think that's moved up since then. Let's see what that did this week. That was last week's number one stock, GPS. And okay, that's moved up since last week. It was highlighted right here, and it's right about 41, and it's at 42. So I mean, again, they're not going to just go skyrocket overnight, but that's moving our way. And look at this big buy arrow, big green bar, gap down, gap out. Everything said to buy this stock, so that's why it was my number one stock of the week last week. So this week I got 3 new picks out, and if you'd like to get those, sign up for the Best Stock newsletter. Thanks a lot. This is Jim.